All right, welcome back to the ALG podcast. Happy Friday if you're listening to this on drop date. It's finally the freaking weekend. Today I am joined, as always, by my partner in crime, Fit_D-Rock, better known as David Roden. How are you,
Buenos
David?
dias, ¿cómo estás?
How are you today? And
I am
today we are
phenomenal.
joined by Today we are joined by an extremely special guest. My man, you may know him as working on Ryan. I know him as Ryan Aviles. My man, how are you today?
Ray, man, how are you?
I'm doing quite well. So I think that Ryan makes the first person on the podcast who's actually involved in the ALG community. Am I wrong? I don't think I'm wrong.
On a continuing basis, correct, I would
Right,
say.
on a constant continuing basis.
Yeah,
Right, because
yeah.
yes, Kayla is on. And yeah, now Ryan's here. So Ryan, welcome. We're definitely going to talk about the ALG community a little bit, later on in the show. But
Sure.
before we get there, I do want you just to kind of introduce yourself to everybody listening at home. Those who may not know you, may not know your story. Just give me a little brief overview.
And where do I start? I actually have been part of the weight loss community. And when I say that, I mean like on Facebook, on Instagram
Right.
for quite some time. And then I literally just dropped off because I went down that downward spiral.
Right.
But yeah, man, I've always been around as far as social media goes. But as of late, I got back into everything. And that's how I met you guys. I found you guys. Actually, John, I found you first.
Right.
And then I found Poro. And
Yeah.
everything's just been going uphill ever since. So I'm kind of grateful for that.
That's what I really like to hear. So you said that this is not your first go around with the weight loss community. So why don't you tell us what had happened? Why the how did you first start? In the very beginning before you kind of had that hiccup.
Okay. So it's actually I've been heavy my entire life. Okay.
Okay.
I would say, what is this, 2020? So 2012, I had met my ex-wife. Now, this is where it gets kind of weird because I did this all for the wrong reasons, okay? When
How old are you, really quick? How old?
I will be 36 tomorrow. I'm 35.
Happy birthday.
Hey.
Thank you. I met her in 2012.
Okay.
And what had happened was when I met her, she told me that she was into me and everything like that, but she wanted a longer life. And at my size, I was 574 pounds. She was like, that's not going to happen.
Right.
So and she was heavy herself. She was pushing around almost 300. She said, I want to lose weight. And she's like, I think me and you together, we're just going to enable each other. And I was like, all right, I'll lose weight. It was my first real stab at really trying to lose weight on my own.
Right.
And I did it. We both went to Weight Watchers, lost the weight. I shouldn't say I lost weight. I lost about 100 pounds.
Let's say, define and lose weight. Okay, I lost 100 pounds.
Yeah.
Okay.
I lost 100 pounds on Weight Watchers.
Wow,
And,
incredible. That's awesome. That's really awesome.
And in a matter of I want to say almost 4.5 months. But I was going hard with it though. We were going for walks.
Yep.
We were doing nature walks, all that stuff,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And then I started to, we got into that happy phase, and then I started to creep back up.
Right.
I started to gain weight again. And that was when in 2014 was when I made the decision to have weight loss surgery.
Okay. And where did you go for that?
I actually went to St. Charles is the one that's behind Mather, right? Yeah, St. Charles. Yeah. Yes, that's where I had mine done, yeah.
Very cool.
Which I wasn't happy with it, but there's many
What do you
reasons
mean
for that
you weren't happy with it?
The support.
Okay.
Oh, you felt like they didn't provide support to you within their own bariatric community?
Yeah. I would go to the meetings, they have a set time, and I would go, and then I would show up with me and my ex-wife, and we're the only ones there.
The only ones there, yeah. No, I mean, that's kind of, in the bariatric community, obviously, this, Ryan, and for those that, that are listening that don't know, the process to go through bariatric surgery is strange because there's all walks of life that walk through those doors. That's one thing. The second thing is there are people that get into the bariatric surgery realm of things, and they think, like a lot of people out there think, that they're going in for the quick fix. So if we're going in for the quick fix, well, why do I have to go to these meetings, and why do I have to talk to these people?
Correct.
Other than for the guidelines of getting the surgery. So a lot of these people, they'll go to the one meeting that they have to go to for their insurance policy or whatever, get that little sign off, and then you never see them again because they're really only there because they think that this is the easy way out. And,
Right.
I saw that through my whole process of having to get weight loss surgery too. I remember the first class that they made us attend. The girl behind me was like, oh, we have to come here all the time, or like, can I just, get the note signed after this and never come back? Cause like, I'm going to have my surgery in a month and then I'll be good after that. So, if you're not mentally up here ready for it, I mean, we all know then it's not gonna work out, but go ahead. So you were going to these meetings and you and your ex-wife were the only ones showing up.
Yeah, we were the only ones that would show up, and I wasn't happy with it.
Right.
I honestly did have that mentality though, John. Like what you were just saying about that.
Right.
I was one of them.
Right.
And the reason for that.
I'm glad that you can admit that though.
But there's a reason for that, which I wasn't better than anybody.
No,
Okay?
of course.
But when you go around that meeting, when you go into that meeting and there's other people that are there and they share their stories, some of their worst things that they go through or their go-tos.
Right.
I mean, I would look around the room and I'm like, I don't have anything. I can't relate.
Right.
Like one guy who worked construction, he would drink like those Tang orange drinks from like the gas station, a gallon of it.
Ugh.
He'd drink like
Right.
2 of them a day.
Right.
And I'm like, dude, one guy's like, oh, I ate 2 pies of pizza last night by myself. And I'm like, I couldn't relate to it.
No, I
They
understand.
were getting surgery. You know what I mean? So I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, so that's why I was like, I'm one of those people, but I had my own things that I just wouldn't reveal to anybody.
Right.
So not better than anybody. But we went to those meetings and they just weren't helping us. They really, really weren't. And then after I had the surgery, because she had the surgery first. My ex-wife actually had surgery first.
So now when you say the surgery, which surgery did you guys both get?
We both had the gastric sleeve.
Okay.
Okay. She went first and then I went after her. And luckily I had no complications, no nothing. But after, we both started to lose weight, I got down. So the day of my surgery, I weighed 448 pounds. Okay.
And you started
Now-
what, 575?
Well, 574.
Okay.
And then I lost the weight from Weight Watchers and then I
Right.
gained back up. So I went up
Okay.
to 489 pounds, 480 pounds. And then I lost, and then he told me, if you do not weigh 448 pounds on the dot, the day of your surgery, I can't do it for you.
Yeah, no, they're very strict when it comes to stuff like that. Extremely.
Luckily, I weighed 448 pounds on that day. I was like praying.
Yeah.
I stopped drinking
dude, I
water
would've
for
been-
2 days to get there,
Yeah.
but I did.
I would have been devastated. And they make you go for an appointment like 2 or 3 days before just to make sure like you're okay, that
Yep.
you're not eating anything. And
Mhm.
I was like really devastated because I was starving.
Yeah.
And the woman next to me was getting it done on the same day. And she told whoever was in front of us, yeah, I had steak last night and some baked potato.
Oh my God.
And the woman said, if you did that, that's fine. Stop now. And I said, if it's fine, then why am I starving for 2 weeks?
Right. Because they
Doesn't
put you
make
on the
any
2-week
sense.
liquid diet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So but anyway, so I had the surgery. And then after that, I started to lose the weight.
Right.
I got down with my surgery. So on the day of my surgery, I weighed 448.
Right.
Over, I would say 6 to 7 months, I got down to around
The imbalances, that's just because of the you're lacking the normal nutrients that you would take from the food. You're not getting in as much food as you were. That's
Right.
why you have to take the vitamins and whatnot. I'll tell you right now, when I first got weight loss surgery, I was losing hair like crazy.
Yeah, clumps in the shower.
Yep, clumps in the shower. Actually, so I was looking at an old video the other day because I was going to create a post, and Steve had taken a back shot of me doing something, and I had the whole St. Anthony going. Like I had just this huge bald spot going in. And then yesterday he took a video of me, and that whole bald spot is basically gone. Because I just eventually I was just able to really level out. I started taking a lot of biotin, but the same thing, like you said, clumps of hair, my nails weren't growing. My nails were frail as anything. I was
Yeah.
getting, like, if I smacked my hand on a table accidentally or something, I would get black and blues underneath my fingernail. It was
Yep.
wild. It was absolutely wild. But yeah, so go ahead, continue.
No, so I had lost weight. My ex-wife had gotten down to around, I want to say like 220, 230
Wow.
from almost 300. So she didn't lose, I wouldn't say she lost a tremendous amount,
Right.
but that's when after we both started to like feel good, we started to creep back up again.
Right.
Because you find ways around that surgery.
Yes.
And I will admit openly, 2 days after my surgery, I tried. I went to my mom's house, and my mom's house is it's like an enabler's dream. Like,
Right.
sorry, it's like a food addict's dream. Not
Right.
she's the enabler.
Right.
But I went there, and my aunt was eating Swedish fish, and I was like, "Oh, give me one." Nobody said, "Dude, you just had surgery." Nothing.
Right.
I wanted to see what would happen because, the surgeon was like, listen, you eat anything like that or sugar, you're probably going to be in some pain.
Yeah. Pain, dumping syndrome, all that.
Nothing. I had nothing. I ate it and I was like, okay. Same thing with peanut M&Ms. I went through all of my vices, Oreos, peanut M&Ms, any type of candy, any type of ice cream. The only thing I was afraid to try was soda.
Right.
And
the bubbles.
right. But even that, maybe it's because I didn't try it so early, but down the line, I was fine. And
Right.
I was like, so they lied to me. They basically brainwash you for a little while just so you stay away from that stuff.
Well, it's not really a brainwashing thing.
No. I'm saying that's what I was thinking.
Oh yeah, no, of course. Well,
Yeah, for sure.
when I woke up from surgery, I went through a very similar thing, and as I'm talking to more bariatric patients who've had it done, I've actually kind of noticed this pattern that I think we all kind of do that just to test the waters to see if we really were lied to. The morning I woke up from surgery, when I was finally back in my house, I made myself a protein shake with huge glob of peanut butter in it, and I ate an egg. I ate like a whole thing of scrambled eggs, and I wasn't supposed to eat, and it went down fine. And then I'm sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, well, these motherfuckers told me that I'd be in pain, I'd be throwing up, and I'm fine. Did they even do surgery on me? And I swear to God, I went 2 months convincing myself you didn't even have surgery done. They just took the insurance money. That's all they did. They got paid. Everyone got paid. You got screwed. You're not going to lose any weight. And then I noticed, hey, Dick, if you just follow the rules, you're going to see, there really is restriction there. And also, like you said before, so you were able to get down like peanut M&Ms and Swedish fish and Oreos and stuff like that. One of the things that I remember hearing, during the consultations and those group sessions was that you actually will be able to get stuff like that down because they're not dense. You follow what I'm saying?
They call them sliders.
Right.
Is what they call them.
Exactly. Slider foods. Exactly.
Slider foods.
It's easier to pick and graze. You'll always be able to pick and graze. There's nothing that's going to take that away.
Right.
And that's how a lot of people find, the in and out of the bariatric surgery.
Yeah. Ice cream easily went down.
Oh, yeah.
But here's the thing, because ice cream, I guess depending on what flavor you get, to me it wasn't dense. So I would be able to, I would say about after 7 months, I was able to put down a half a pint of Ben and Jerry's easily.
No problem. Yeah. No without
problem.
a doubt. I could see that.
Same thing with a can of Coke. I was like, I'm fine. I wouldn't be able to eat. Now, it did stop me from eating a lot, as you know, like I went from eating 3 to 4 slices of pizza to having maybe 1.5, and that's without drinking.
Right.
Until this day, 2 is my limit for pizza.
Right.
Which, in a fat man's mind, saddens me.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, hey, listen, I haven't had pizza in 5 years, but even hearing you say two is my limit, I'm just like, oh God, I hate that. A limit? What do you mean? I could do 10 slices.
That's like my claim to fame here is that's considering I'm the one that has it. It's like, wait, when was it? Me and my roommate took down a large Jets pizza and a medium and a large Jets pizza and breadsticks. That was like a week and a half ago. It was glorious.
Oh, you did this a week and a half ago?
This is like a week and a half ago.
Good for you. Good for you.
No, but that's honestly, that was a position of me when it came to, so like I had made the position with my parents. If I didn't lose the weight by graduation of college, I'd get gastric of one of the surgeries. And one of my very vain, again, we all have reasons in our head of why we make the decisions we make.
Right.
Some good, some bad. I wanted to still be able to eat the way I want to eat.
Right.
I may not always do it, but it's like, if I want to let go for 6 hours and just go smorgasbord and then get back on I want to be able to do that. But if you have surgery, that's not an option. You die.
I mean, yes, you can. Listen, I had an opportunity once I had got divorced to do a revision. And it's something that I wanted to do until I went to Mather Hospital this time to try to get it done. and the surgeon pretty much like kind of fucked with me a little bit and like made a fool out of me in front of everybody, and I was pissed.
Why? What do you
Dr.
mean?
Ahmad.
Why?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
So we sat there, and dude, I wasn't the heaviest guy in the room. At 489 pounds, I'm not the heaviest. Okay.
And you're not in a bariatric. Yeah, you're not. You know.
No.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting in the because if you have to go for a revision or you want to go for a revision, you have to go to the consultation again.
Right.
There's
Yeah. You
no-
have to start all over again. Yeah.
Yep. So I was willing to do that. I'm sitting there by myself now. Mind you, I'm about a month out of like splitting up with my ex-wife and like getting ready to get divorced and everything.
Now wait, I want to just set the table and set the timeline. How long after you getting bariatric is you going back to see about a revision?
So that I got my surgery in 2014. It was last June is when I went to try to get a revision. So June of 2019. So
Okay.
5 years later.
5 years.
Okay.
Okay. And he just basically went around the room and he gave, and the surgeon, and I mean by he went around and gave like all these surveys, and you had to circle everything, and then at the end you add up all these numbers and they give you your body mass index.
Right.
And mine was at I think it was a 67 or 68, which is
Okay.
high.
Yeah.
And when he went around the room, like he was asking people, and dude, there was maybe about I'd say 20, 25 people in the room. He gets to me and he goes, "What's your BMI?" Like read it out loud. So I'm like 66, whatever I said, and he's like, "Okay." He was like, "Let me ask you, how did you get that heavy?" And I'm like, "Well, first things first." And I started and I said, "Listen, I had gastric sleeve already." He's like, "So then what are you doing here?"
Right.
So I explained it to him again, and he's like, "Yeah," he's like, "I don't think a revision would work for you. The only revision that I would even think to do with you is a duodenal switch. And I don't do that. That's done in the city."
Yeah.
So in my head, I'm like, what the fuck's a duodenal switch?
Yeah.
So I Google it, and it is the be-all and end-all for surgery.
See, when they explained everything to you, Ryan, they did it so poorly, and I'm so upset listening to this
Mhm.
that they really did this to you. So yes, if you get the sleeve and then later on down the road you have to get a revision, it is the term that he just said. Go ahead, say it again because
Duodenal switch.
yeah.
You could go to a bypass. It depends on.
Yeah. So here's the thing, though.
depends.
It is a bypass. It is a bypass.
It is, but it's not. It's not the regular bypass. It's
Right.
more extreme.
Right. But they
And-
should have told you that out the gate, and he shouldn't have used you as an example. And the reason why
pissed.
he did that is because, and this is not taking anything from you, and I don't want you to
No,
take
not at
any
all.
offense to anything.
I know
Yeah.
he hears it all the time, dude.
You know what I'm saying? Like he used
Yeah.
you as the example of what not to do.
Oh, absolutely.
That was the point he was trying to get across. And
Absolutely.
that's fucked up.
Yeah.
It's
It
fucked
was.
up beyond
I-
belief.
I left there, and afterwards, there was a woman standing at the door, and she was supposed to take like your name and number for like
Yeah.
appointments, whatever. I just was like, fuck her, and I left.
Yeah.
And then like a week later, I got a call from them asking if I wanted to schedule an appointment. And I'm like, fuck it. I mean, what do I got to lose?
Yeah.
So I scheduled the appointment. I go there, and he's like, "Oh, I remember you." Yeah. He was like, "Duodenal switch," and I'm like, "What is that?" So he explained it to me, and all I got from that was, well, sleeve didn't work for you. Bypass is definitely not going to work for you. Duodenal switch, you'll be able to do all the stuff that you did just getting back to where your weight is. But he goes, what if I told you you'll never gain weight? The only downfall is you'll have diarrhea for the rest of your life.
Right.
And I looked at him and I said, are you fucking kidding me?
Right.
Like, you're serious, right?
Yeah.
He's like, tell me, what do you eat? So I told him, well, I got my dessert. I got my food. I like my Chinese food. I like my pizza. And he was like, so you could eat all that. You'll never gain weight. You have to take a certain amount of vitamins and you'll never go to the bathroom normal again.
Right.
And that he's like, to me, that's a small price to pay, right? And I'm thinking to myself, this guy's being such a dick.
Yeah.
Like really such a prick. And I get it because he's rich and he don't really have to see me. I get it. But dude, I'm coming to you for help.
Yeah.
And that's what you do.
Yeah.
Like obviously you could see that the sleeve didn't work. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, and not that it didn't work.
Right.
I also didn't do my part also. I didn't. I abused it for sure.
Right.
I did.
Yeah. I find it interesting because like being experiencing the medical field from both being like EMT, working in the ER, my dad's a doctor. Like I spent time in medicine, and it's like, it is so funny to me of how there are a lot of doctors out. You call it affect, which is like bedside manner.
Yeah.
And it's like, they may be the smartest people in the world, but they're not taught bedside manner and how to articulate in a way that is empathetic, respectful,
Yeah.
and like
There's a lot of those out there. There's a shit ton of those doctors out
You
there.
know, my surgeon who did it, who did my surgery, you know, when I sat down with him and had my consultation after we passed everything and we discussed surgery,
Right.
he suggested to me, well, I think the gastric sleeve would go that way. And then I'm sitting in the revision, you know, my revision appointment, and he says to me, "Who did you choose sleeve?" And I said, "No, I didn't choose the sleeve. He recommended it to me." He goes,
Oh, the
"Now,
doctor. Okay.
the doctor." He's like, if you weighed 574 pounds, lost weight, gained it back, and then lost it during the sleeve, he was like, that tells me you should have had the regular gastric bypass all along. He's like, so are you sure you're telling me the truth that you didn't suggest the sleeve or wanted the sleeve? I'm like, dude, I'm not the surgeon. I'm not the doctor.
He's an asshole. Yeah, this
Yeah.
guy's an asshole. See,
Yeah.
and
Dude.
so like a lot of doctors recommend the sleeve. This is a big reason why. A lot of doctors recommend the sleeve because of this reason. A lot of, 9 times out of 10, the sleeve just in case is that safety net. Because you can go back and revise a sleeve. You can turn a sleeve into a bypass, into a
Right.
switch. You
Correct.
can't, once you get bypass, once you get switch, if you
can't.
fuck that up, you lose that chance. We'll call it a chance for a second. You lose that chance, that's it. You're done. Like,
Right.
there's not enough in you to change anything
Correct.
around.
Right.
But for him to come at your neck like that, shit just blows me out of the fucking water. Like,
Yeah.
This is why I don't like people.
No, and then I got lost for a little while. And then, in the middle of all this, I literally just started talking to Allie.
Right.
Who, for people that don't know, Allie is my girlfriend, and she's part
Allie's
of
a
the
great
social
girl.
media.
Yeah,
she's part of the
she's
social media
fantastic.
community. But I started talking to her, and got into that happy phase again, and
Right.
my well-being just fell off the face of the earth. All my healthy stuff that I wanted to do, it just went out the window, and not just for me, for her too. But again, you can't play the blame game there because you're doing it together. You know what I mean?
Of course.
So it wasn't until after we had went on vacation and I needed 2 plane seats, and I knew that going into it.
Right.
That I sat there on the plane and I'm thinking to myself, like,
pissed.
I got on this fucking table. I got cut on, and I'm still asking for a seatbelt extender.
Yeah.
I still don't sit comfortably in these seats.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you
I
doing?
can't even. Yeah.
So when we came back from Florida is when I decided to just like lay down in bed, and I went down the wormhole of Instagram, and that's when I found Noah.
Noah's the man. So for those that don't know, Noah, that's Transformational Truth on Instagram. Noah's a fantastic guy, has a fantastic story. I hope to have him on the show in the near future. But yeah, I mean, I know that, Noah really helped turn you around.
Oh,
shit!
I
look at Noah's excuse me. I look at Noah's posts about you. I see the post that you make about Noah. I can see that real connection that, one hand helping the other. And I think that it's amazing. And Noah has changed, and really seriously has changed some serious lives out there. So I'm glad to see that you found that help. But before we move on to you and Noah's story, I do really want to ask you something.
Sure.
If you had the opportunity to talk to a doctor who's not a jerk off, would you ever think about having the revision done? If you were talked to like a human being, you weren't talked to as a, another paycheck, and, set as an example, as a bad example of what not to do. If a doctor really said, okay, Ryan, listen, this is what we have to do. You're going to have a revision. This is the steps you have to take. Would you consider it? Would you look the other way? Knowing what you know now.
Knowing what I know now, I'm going to have to say no.
Okay.
And there's reasons for that. The main reason for that is, and you know this, going into surgery,
right?
They don't fix your brain. They fix your stomach.
Right.
Okay. Now, up until I met Noah and got some proper guidance as to what to do and what not to do, how to substitute things, what not to eat, what I should eat. And actually, it's not really what not to eat. It's when to eat.
Right.
Okay. No, I have to say no. And for that is because I'm enjoying what I'm doing now.
Yes.
I'm enjoying it. If I could have done this before, if I could turn back time and if I met Noah back in 2013, 14, I think I would have definitely had a different perspective on it, and I would have had a shot at least not having to have to get up on that table and get cut and go through all that bullshit And, you know, but I'm grateful now because I'm getting a second chance to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if no, I wouldn't want to get back up on that table to get cut. Not
Okay.
unless I was like really, if I was going backwards and I saw that what I was doing here was not working,
Right.
and I would say, you know what, I need something more severe.
Right. No, I
So
respect it. I just wanted to know, if it was the doctor that played the role or, life circumstance. That's all.
no,
But
no, no, it wasn't that at all. The doctor, I could have saw a different. I could have went back to my surgeon. My surgeon was at least nice.
yeah,
He just didn't. I feel like me and him, like he didn't really. I
you guys
also
didn't
wasn't
click.
honest,
You should
but I
always click
also
with the guy who's going to cut you open. You know what I mean?
that was number one. But number
Right.
two was I also wasn't honest, not only with him, but I wasn't honest with myself either.
Right.
Because I really wasn't. I didn't go into that shit with the right mindset, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I went into that surgery with a mindset of, yep, I'll be down in 200 pounds in a year, like without any work being put into it.
Right.
Because and that's one thing that does piss me off is that when people get surgery, other people are like, yeah, well, you had surgery, so it's easy. No, no,
Mhm.
no, no.
That shit's
It is
hard
by
as fuck.
far the
Yeah.
hardest thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
This is what I'm doing now. People ask me, they're like, oh, like, how did you do it? How'd you lose 100 pounds? Like, to be honest with you, bro, I'm not suffering. To me, this shit is easy. The surgery part was fucking hard.
Right.
Suffering for 2 weeks without no food, going to family events, and everyone's looking at you because you're still a fucking beached whale, and you're only
Yeah.
eating like 3 slices of pepperoni and you're full. And
Yeah.
they're like,
Yeah.
really? So like,
Yeah.
it's just it fucks with your mind, man. It really does.
Before we kind of close the chapter of the weight loss surgery,
Mhm.
how long? I know you said you were getting happy and whatnot, but when did you really notice that you could take on almost as much food as you could before you had the surgery? Because a lot of people don't realize that your stomach will eventually stretch, your stomach will adapt, and it's up to you to keep up with those good habits, later on down the road. So where would that fall for you?
I would say within the first, I would say year and a half,
Okay.
I started to know that, oh wow, like I could, like if I go to the hibachi spot, because I was living in Lake Grove at the time, so there was a hibachi spot right across the street from where I lived. Um, I noticed the first time I'm sitting there, I'm like, wow, I can actually put a lot more rice down than I was able to.
Right.
Like, oh, okay. The same thing with pizza. If we got pizza one night, I'd be like, oh, I had 2 slices. I might be. It messes with your mind. I
Yeah.
might be able to put another slice down. I'm not too sure. Should I try it?
Yeah.
And then you know what happens later on? You go back to it because it's sitting there and you
Right.
try it.
Right.
And that was another thing. It would stop me until this day, bro. Till this day, I still have the restriction, and I still
Yeah.
have all the symptoms. If I eat something, my nose starts to leak and I start to
Oh yeah.
sneeze.
Yeah.
I get it. And Allie always like laughs at me about it. She's like, your nose is running. I'm like, yeah, I know.
Which is
But
so funny to me.
it
I
really
still
is.
don't understand that.
So
I'm
wait,
full and all of it.
can-
Oh yeah, you didn't know this?
Yeah, please
All right,
elaborate.
so when
here.
you get bariatric surgery, I don't know why this happens, but yes, this is a real thing. When you get bariatric surgery, one of the telltales, the signs that tell you, okay, you're full, stop eating, your nose starts to run.
Yeah.
It's the most wild thing in the world.
Like crazy too,
Interesting.
dude.
To
Like
this
I need a
dude, to
napkin.
this
I'm
day.
just like going like
Yep,
this
to this
constantly.
day, I'll
What?
eat
Yeah.
until I'm full, and then just
That's so weird.
it's so
Or it sounds
weird.
like you have a cold. You're like,
Yep.
"Ugh."
The whole
Like,
time.
yeah, the whole
Yep.
time.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah.
my in-laws look at me like I'm crazy. Like I'll just be
Yeah.
sniffling after dinner. Like,
Yeah.
it's so weird. It's
And
it's so weird.
That's
yeah,
interesting.
Yeah.
but it also helps because now I'm like, all right, I'm good. But
Yeah.
but if I still, again, now this is 6 years ago. I had the surgery.
Mhm.
6 years forward, I still have a restriction. Even though his meal plans that he gives me,
Mhm.
I'll tell him like, dude, I can only eat one
Yes.
of that, and he's giving me a plan to help me lose weight because someone my size probably should be eating 2 wraps
Way
with
more, yeah,
chicken.
exactly.
And I'm like, dude, like, and he'll say to me like, you really need the fat though. You got to get that in. I'm like, you know what? And I tell him all the time, I'm just not gonna fucking eat it. I don't want it. And he's like, all right, see how you feel. Go with your body. I'm like, you're damn right I'm gonna go with my body. I'm not gonna stuff myself to fucking oblivion until I'm sitting there and I have to
Yeah.
fucking pull my pants down. I'm sitting there with my fucking belly hanging out. Like, I don't want to do that. I just don't
Oh
want to do it.
no, of course, yeah. And
So
I found that
just-
hard when I first started seriously lifting too. When I was trying to get in like carbs, when I was, allowed to actually eat rice again, Steve would turn around and be like, all right, well, so you need to have this many. I'm like, bro, you need to relax. Like, I can't physically cannot take in
You
that
need
much.
480 grams of carbs.
Yeah.
Well, let's
this
make
day.
it 275.
Dude, and that's like, I would have like, let's name a deal, like, name that price. And yeah, but people don't realize. But anyway, so I appreciate you actually opening up about that whole end, that other end that we really don't get to hear about
Sure.
bariatric surgery. We hear a lot of success stories, and no one ever likes to say, hey, I failed at something. I appreciate that you're able to look everybody in the eye and say, hey, this is what I did.
Yeah.
I'm a better man because I failed. I know why I failed, and X, Y, and Z is the reason why. And I went back and I corrected those ways. A lot of people, they fail, dude, and they'll look at themselves in the mirror and think, I'm not a failure. And then they'll just quit.
No.
They just say, all right, that's it. No more. It didn't work.
Now, question for you, because I feel like you remind me of someone else that's been on the podcast in the past. You're a huge empath, aren't you?
What do you mean?
As in you wear your emotions on your sleeve?
Yeah. So Allie says this to me all the time. If so it depends on, like, I guess what you mean, but I'll give you an example. If you're having a shitty day and I come at you and I ask you a question and you give me an attitude, I feed right off of it, and I'm gonna give you a fucking attitude.
Yep. That's why me and Ryan are so much alike. It's fucking
And I
crazy.
honestly don't care
Yeah.
why you had your bad day.
Yep.
Not come at me.
Exactly. Just be nice to me. I'm trying to be nice to you.
Because if you don't and you want to go down that way and you want to make me fucking roar, that's fine.
It's the Italian in us. I swear to God, that's
That's
literally
fine.
what it is.
Because you'll get it, and you'll get
Okay.
it 10 times fucking worse. So
Yep.
go ahead.
Yep. So Ryan's a piece of shit, guys. No, don't have a bad day around Ryan. So tell me more about you actually connecting to Noah, joining his program and everything that he has you doing as far as the eating that you're doing. Because I've seen the things that you get to eat, and I've seen the meal plans that Noah gives you, and I get jealous sometimes. I'm just like, wow, my man eating good.
When I found Noah, I didn't think that he would respond to me because he had so many fucking followers. And I Googled him just like if I'm gonna talk to you, I Googled him just to see what he was about because it's a nutritionist on there, right? So I'm like, let me do my homework a little bit before I decide to like go through with this. And I saw that he was in Men's Health. He was on YouTube all over the place. And I also saw that he has a Netflix documentary coming out, and I was like, oh shit. I'm like, yeah, but this fucking guy's not gonna message me back. Like, he's got over 200,000 followers. Like, he responded to me. I messaged him, dude, at like 3 a.m. He responded to me. Now I fell asleep, but because he's where he is, he's in Bali.
Yeah.
It's literally a 12-hour time difference. So 3 o'clock here was 3 o'clock in the morning here was 3 o'clock over in the afternoon for him. So he messaged me back right away. I didn't see it. The next morning I wake up, I see his message, and we get to talking. And at that time we were in the now it's the middle of it's this year, so it's the middle of the pandemic, right? And he was very, very very, very honest with me, and literally stuck his hand out and said, dude, if you are having money issues, if you're having this, because he asked me for my story. I told him my story. He said, if you're having money issues, don't worry about that right now. Let me help you. I said, okay. And honestly, if anybody at that point, because of the way I was feeling, was willing to like stick their neck out or just, give me their hand, I'm going to take it because, dude, I was at a wit's end.
Yeah.
Like, I was afraid to step on the scale. Up until I started the program at Noah, I wouldn't get on that fucking scale.
Right.
Wouldn't do it.
Right.
I wouldn't do it. And, I started with him. He made me wait. He said to me, I'm going to do something because he's like, he was like, not that I want to give you your last hurrah. He's like, but we're going to start this on Monday. And I was like, well, what am I going to eat now? And he was like, don't worry about it. I don't want to know what you're eating right now. We'll start Monday. I'm like,
yeah.
All right. So in my head, and I'm sure everybody does this if they're going to go on a diet, I'm going to eat what the fuck I want up until Monday.
I knew you were about to say that.
You know what I mean? I'm going to eat what the fuck I want. And,
All
and
right. Talk dirty to me though. Tell me what you were eating. Tell me what you were eating.
And here's where it gets sad because here's where the restriction comes in. I couldn't put it away.
Okay.
My last meal before getting on the program with Noah was fucking Subway.
Yeah.
Because dude, I had pizza and I had a slice and a half. When I had wings with my pizza, I was able to fit 3 wings. So again, there goes that the restriction is still there, which I'm very thankful for. I'm very thankful for that, because if I didn't have that restriction, bro, I would probably be worse than when I started out.
Right.
It's so fascinating because again, like this goes to show you, I'm excited, like how we're gonna title this episode. It's gonna be fun. I'm because obviously gonna put your name, but like when I sit here and type out the summary a little bit, I think it's gonna be so powerful to say like how it's awesome. All right, it's Joe Rogan. So Joe Rogan's quote, this is my like one of my favorite things. He's like, you know what? We all love the underdog story. We all love the underdog story of someone who came from nothing and built it to everything. But you know what I love? I love the story of a man who had it all, fucked it all up, and then brought
it back. Yeah.
And so like the same thing here, which is like, I love the fact that you failed the surgery, because it's going to be fun to see your your full transition into where you're going to be, because then it's going to be like, it's going to show a point to everyone within all the narcissists within the anti-gastric bypass surgery space are going to be like, well, you just be a surgery. And it's like, yeah, that's not how it works, as you can see from him.
Yeah, no, it's no. And I actually had someone message me the day because she saw some surgery shaming, and it's fucked up, man. It really is.
Oh, it's terrible.
It's really shitty.
Yeah.
You know, because like I said, it's the hardest thing I've ever done. This to me, what Noah's plan is cake.
Yeah.
And if I knew what I knew now back then, I would have an easier time for sure.
Right.
Just and even with Noah's plan, like I said, I eat half of what he tells me what he tells me to eat, because I can't eat more of it. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, he tells me.
So what does he have you doing? Like he's supplying you with a meal plan, grocery list every week. Is he telling you, Ryan, I want you to try to, walk 2 miles, 3 days a week? Like, what does he have you?
So the walking didn't start until he gave Allie her plan.
Right.
He wasn't going to have me walk at all. He was like, dude, I just want you to get your eating down, and then we'll worry about exercising after. I'm like, okay. But once Allie came on board, he wanted her to walk, because obviously she's a lot smaller than I am. And I was like, dude, I can walk. I'm not immobile. Like, I can walk. And he was like, all right, if you can walk, he's like, I'm not telling you to walk a marathon. Give me 20 minutes and we'll do it like 3 times a week. I'm like, all right, whatever. So what he does is every Thursday we have a call. So even though tomorrow is my birthday, it's actually about an hour before I'm actually going out to dinner tomorrow night. So I'm going to have my call. So every Thursday we have a call. He asks me how my week goes, how my week has been, anything that I'm going through I need to talk to him about. And then he asks me about my food. How did I enjoy the food? Did I switch anything up? Did I substitute anything? And then he'll ask me, what are you feeling next week? Give me some ideas. I'm like, okay, so I'll give him some ideas. But what he does is, if I say to him, dude, I'm really craving like Spanish rice with like a chicken cutlet or something, he'll say, okay, I'll work that into the plan.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, how about dessert wise? What are you feeling? I'm like, I really like Nutella. All right, give me, let me work that in. Okay, cool. And he'll come back to me. And again, because of the time difference, I'll go to sleep, and then he'll shoot me a message on WhatsApp at 3 a.m. here. And then I'll wake up in the morning and I'm like, oh, got my meal plan. But it's only 1 day meal plan. That's it. So it's literally, I eat that for 6 days straight.
Oh, I got you. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. I was like, that's a lot of work.
No. It's okay. I eat it 6 days. I eat it 6 days straight. And the reason for that.
Breakfast, lunch, dinner, dessert.
No, lunch, snack, dinner, pre-bed snack, because I'm intermittent fasting.
Gotcha.
Okay. Cool. Now, intermittent fasting for me is a little bit different, because I'm a nighttime eater.
Me too.
Sound like a fucking shark. I'm a night feeder.
No, I agree.
No, and dude, every night around like 12:30, 1 o'clock, I'll have Greek yogurt with protein powder and like chocolate chips. And, I'm sitting in front of the fucking TV eating my, watching Netflix. Allie's asleep. And I just have my little alone time. And listen, it's better than eating fucking.
Bro, I live for that. What you just said right now, I live for that.
Wait, I thought if you ate after 11 o'clock, it automatically turned into fat.
No, 7. So I literally just had this argument with my father-in-law before we got on here.
Bro, this shit is hysterical.
Dude, I was like, I will show you articles right now. There is your body has no idea what time it is or when I'm chewing. Are you, what?
This stuff is so
not at all.
How people come up with this outlandish stuff that has zero Just none, no merit at all.
Zero.
Nope.
You
Yeah.
don't have carbs tonight, man.
And-
carbs know what time it is.
So intermittent fasting can go in. I'm sure you guys know about intermittent fasting and
Oh
like
yeah,
the
I do
windows
it.
and stuff,
I do it
right?
myself.
Right. So if I eat the yogurt as let's say 12:30, I will really try to hold off. Now he doesn't have me doing the 16-hour thing. He's like, yeah, don't do
You're
that.
not doing 8:16.
No, he'll say to me like, try to do anywhere from 10 to 12, and then we'll go from there. And the reason for that is because he feels like I'm gonna fall off. And truthfully, I feel like I'm gonna fall off that too if I do it. If I just jump into 16, I'm gonna fucking die.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So-
it's so interesting when I first did intermittent fasting, because actually what's fascinating to me is my first 60 pounds, I would say, from 410 to 360, 350.
Right.
It was carb cycling and it was 5 meals a day. That's what I was doing. I was doing the every 2 to 3 hour meal thing. And it's funny to me because Science Guy's coming out. So Science Guy, just so you know, science hat is on.
Yeah.
So if you're not a science guy, you're going to not listen to this. So it's fascinating. So because for the longest time back in like the 70s, they came out with they did the studies on, oh wow, when you eat food, your metabolism boosts because it has to take energy to burn the food, So the hypothesis was if you eat smaller meals more continuously, you're boosting your metabolic rate,
Yeah.
And you're burning
so
all
you're
day.
burning more calories. And that's how it started back in the 70s. The issue is coming into the 90s and early 2000s, now they're looking at the full increment of that data. And what's interesting is the metabolic boost is proportionate to the amount of food you're eating.
Right.
So whether you eat 2,000 calories in one meal or you eat 2,000 calories in 6 meals, the metabolic boost is the same.
Yeah.
So if you're a grazer, guess what? Graze. If you're like a person like me, I like 2 to 3 big hearty meals a day.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm pivoting to, because I was white knuckling the 5 meals a day. I didn't enjoy it. And so I personally, intermittent fasting and bigger meals, that's what I like to do too.
So you know what's funny, Ryan? I eat a lot like you eat right now. I would never say I intermittent fast, but I guess I really do. I'll fast anywhere between 12 to 15 hours, but I always, I'm always eating at night. There's nothing that'll stop me ever. I don't give a shit.
I told him the same
Until
thing.
until
Don't
I
stop
make
me.
you do a 5-day fast.
Well, yeah. But that's something totally different. But that's that's a set thing. But I'm saying there's nothing in the world that would ever be like, no, and I told my trainer this, I told doctors this, all going through my process, all working out. Dude, I eat at night. I don't get hungry until nighttime. I don't know what it is. It's just how I am. So I look forward every day.
Do you want to know the science?
No, fuck off. I look forward every day to my 2 bags of Quest chips and my Netflix. Dude, I don't care. It's 130 calories a bag, and I'm gonna fucking enjoy both bags. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. I told Noah that when we started this. I said to him, I'm a night eater.
Yeah.
I was like, and he's like, what do you eat at night? And I was honest with him. I said, I eat 2 huge bowls of Fruity Pebbles with regular milk. It's got to be cold. I was telling him, I felt like I was sick telling him that because I was like getting aroused as I was telling him. And he's like, all right. He's like, well, we're not going to eat the cereal because it's not doing anything for you.
All right.
And I was like, okay. And then he wasn't having me eating the yogurt at first. Now the yogurt is like a part of my thing. Like every week I'll be like, you want any different dessert? And I'm like, just give me the fucking yogurt with the protein powder. Like I love it.
100%.
I love it, dude.
Greek Dannon light and fit Greek yogurt with some like fruit, or you can do a lot with it. It is clean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't taste like it tastes good.
No, I actually put it on my story yesterday. The GNC Chips Ahoy Ghost.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, I heard Ghost is really good. They're a great brand.
I take 1.5 scoops, 1.5 cups of Greek yogurt, plain non-fat.
Yeah.
1 scoop of that protein powder, and that protein powder, it clumps up inside the Greek yogurt, so it actually forms like kind of like crunchy. It's got actual chocolate chips in there. Add a few more milk chocolate chips to that. Add 2 tablespoons of peanut butter. Dude, I'm telling you right now, it turns into like a mousse when you mix it all up.
I'm gonna
and
try
I'm
that.
sitting, it's so fucking good. And I said to him, he's like, well, how about the rice cakes? I'm like, fuck off with the rice cakes. Just give me the Greek yogurt.
Yeah.
I like my bowl.
Fuck
I
off
think,
with the rice.
but I also think that, and you know, if I think about it in actuality, I think it's more the fact that holding, and this is going to sound weird, but holding the bowl as I'm sitting there on the couch watching my show or
Oh, it's
watching
a
my
whole
movie or
different
whatever.
high. Yeah, no, yeah,
It's a high for sure.
yeah.
But it's my high. I'm not hiding it.
Right.
I'm not eating cereal. I'm not eating fucking Fruity Pebbles. I'm not eating Golden Grams. I'm
Mhm.
not eating any of that sugary shit. I'm eating what was instructed to me. I'm just eating it at a certain time. And when I do eat that, normally I actually try to hold off the next day. I won't eat till like 12,
Yeah, I
you know.
understand.
But what he does let me do, which is weird, he will let me have coffee in the morning with sugar-free creamer.
Oh
Well,
yeah,
that's probably why.
that's not gonna affect you.
Yeah, because it's not gonna break
Right.
anything. Yeah,
And I thought it was. And he said to me, that's not going to break your fast. You can have
yeah,
coffee.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
I wasn't agreeing to the fasting until I said, dude, I'm going to get fucking headaches. And he was like, don't worry about it. Have the coffee. I'm like, okay. He's like,
Right.
just 1 cup
Yeah.
and that'll hold you off. But you know this. If you drink coffee, John, what happens? You get
Well, it
fucking full.
depends. Yeah. Oh, yeah. All
And
the
then
time.
you got to take a shit
Yeah.
afterwards. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly what
Well,
happens.
you're lucky you could shit. I don't shit.
Well,
I wish I
no.
shit.
No, if I
But
have to, I got to drink coffee and then it'll
no,
happen
well,
for sure.
I need way more than that. But we've
So,
talked about my shitting enough on this podcast.
I tell you what, question for you. So like,
Sure.
so going into the situation you are now, how long you been with Noah?
I've been with Noah. Let's see. I've been with Noah since April, the end of April.
Okay.
Oh, cool. Okay.
What makes this different? What makes, because how much you down now with
I
being
am
with Noah?
down 102 pounds.
With Noah,
102
102 pounds.
102 pounds. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Since
102
April.
pounds. Since April. Yeah.
Let's go. And what, honestly, like, because I think it's important. I love where you are in this podcast too, because it's been fun like having you back, and all of a sudden I'm down 210. I'm down
Yeah.
210. It'll be fun to. What makes this different? Like, honestly, you had surgery. You did Weight Watchers, lost 100. You had surgery, lost 100, and now you're at this position where it looks different. What makes this different?
Life in general. Now, when I say that, listen, we're still in this pandemic shit. The world is not the same as we all know it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But what makes it different is, and when I say life, I mean everything about it. Now, I don't have a job right now. You both know that. I lost my job to the pandemic. Okay.
Right.
I loved my job. My job was fantastic. I made decent money, and I'm gonna say it out. I didn't really do anything.
Yeah.
That was taken away from me, but I'm with someone that I love and care for very, very, very much, and I can openly say that I will get married again. I will say that.
That's awesome.
But it's everything that falls into place, which is why it makes it different. You know, someone could be like I was before. I had a shitty, not that it was shitty, but towards the end it was a shitty marriage. I was very unhappy. I was unsure.
How long were you married?
I was married for 5 years, with her for
Okay.
7.
Okay.
It didn't work out. And not that she's a bad person. It just didn't work out. We're two very different people.
Right.
And just, it is what it is. But when you're not happy with yourself,
Right.
Which is why I put on the weight with the surgery. Me and her were arguing, just didn't see eye to eye. She was gaining weight, I was gaining weight from the frustration and the stress eating. But to answer David's question, again, it's life. It's everything that comes full circle.
Mm-hmm.
Your happiness, no matter if it's your family, your girlfriend, your wife, whatever the case may be, it's your happiness. Right. And it's got to do with what's in here and what's in your heart.
Yeah.
Food will always be there. It'll always be there. But what makes it different this time is the fact that, one is I know that what I'm doing is working. Right. So it proved it proved to me that there are other ways to do this besides getting cut open.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But to do it the right way.
Yeah.
Number 2, I was worried or listening to people about losing weight. You have to work out. Not necessarily true, because for the first 3 months I didn't work out at all, which I will have to, yes. But I knew deep down I needed to get my eating down first before
100%.
going to the gym and working out.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't, going to the gym, working out, and then going to McDonald's doesn't do anything. Doesn't do anything for me, right? So doing it the right way, that's number 2. Number 3 would be the weight loss community. Again, I was part of it before, but nowhere near as the way I am with it now.
Right.
And every morning I wake up, That's the first thing I do is to get my motivation
Yep.
and to see other people trying to kick me in the ass. It doesn't always work. It's not every single day. I'm going to be real with you guys. It's not every fucking day. So sometimes I look at you guys' profiles and I'm like, oh, fuck these guys. I'm going somewhere. It's not every day. But the weight loss community is a huge part. And I'm grateful that I met someone like Noah. Because honestly, like I said before, if I didn't, but I also want to say too that it's the food that's also very, very different from what I'm eating. But I'm actually eating stuff that I enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Wait. You can eat stuff that you enjoy just in a different dynamic and lose weight.
Brother, I bought Malamars yesterday.
I was told you have to eat egg whites for every meal.
I got an egg intolerance, so fuck that.
And if you're not eating meat every single meal, you're not carnivore. And if you're not carnivore, you can't lose weight.
And you might as well just go OMAD because everyone loves OMAD.
Yeah, well, no, Gourmet goes so mad, and I don't know how the fuck he does that, but I would kill somebody.
Oh man!
No, I bought a box of Malamars, and I will say that whole thing, and I bought them yesterday, bro. Now here's the big difference. You ready? Bought them yesterday. Me before meeting Noah and doing all this before that.
Oh, they're gone already. Yeah, gone.
I still have a full box up there. Allie had one. I had one. That's
awesome. That's awesome.
So to me, that says a lot. That we.
So you're looking at food just so differently today.
Because it's always gonna be there, bro.
Mm-hmm.
But you didn't know that beforehand. You know what I'm saying?
I kind of did. I just didn't give a fuck, and I wanted it because it made me feel good.
You may have known it, but you didn't want to accept it. You follow what I'm saying?
Denial is a big part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that would be why it's different. And again, you have to, and also, I will say this, and I'm very big on this. I found my why.
Okay, cool. Let's hear it.
Do this. My why is, one is obviously I want to be around longer.
Right.
Okay. Number two is I want to feel better.
Right.
Number three, I have goals. I want to work. I want to be with Allie. So I found actually more than one why.
Right.
But you have to, when you find that, you have to basically be able to relate it to your past and why you do the things that you do in order to get to where you are. And you have to understand it. And if you don't understand it, you got to try to. If you do understand it and you want to go back to the dark shit, you have to tell it to go fuck off and that this is the way it is now and move on.
I love that.
It's the way it is.
I absolutely love that. Anything you'd like to add, Science Guy?
So in what context?
Oh, anything. I just haven't heard you peeping a little bit.
No, I love, I mean, it's interesting to me because a couple of different, I was about to, what I call peel the onion, which is you say you want to live longer, define longer. I'm intrigued. Give me
longer than the age of what the doctor actually told me that.
And what was that age?
The age. Sorry, my phone went off. The age was last year. One of my doctors told me you're not going to be able to see the age of 35 the way you keep going after you had surgery.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like,
so what do you want now? What, like you say longer? So give me a
what is longevity for you?
What is longevity for you?
First of all, anybody who says, "Oh, well, he died at 61. He led a good life." Go fuck yourself, because 61 is too young. 75 is too young. I want to live till I'm at least 80, 90.
Okay,
that'd be great for me.
And then your second one was, you said healthy, right? You said
healthy. I want to do it healthy. Yes, and I want.
So what's healthy for you?
What define health? Is six pack abs healthy? What is your definition of healthy?
It's great. I'm never gonna have abs, but it's okay.
That's fine. 100%. I would say for most people, especially if
they're not going to,
they're not going to, and it's not necessarily healthy.
No, I again, listen. Healthy to me is I should say healthy mindset, because you could be healthy. I could be healthy as a fucking horse. It's what I'm putting in my body. So what I mean by healthy is I want to continue to eat this way forever. That's just what I want, because I feel good eating it. You know what I mean? Eating pizza is great, sure. But if I have more than what I'm supposed to have, I feel like shit.
Right.
Okay. But if I have a piece of grilled chicken and some rice, and I decide, I want to go back for some more rice, it's not going to kill me, and I'm not going to feel like shit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Quality, not quantity.
Vegetables in it. Correct. So that's what I mean by it's a healthy mindset, man. You just got to have it. That's all.
Yeah. Because it's interesting, because it's like my DMs, I always get in the position of people don't set high expectations for themselves or high goals and hit them, Most people set very, very, very small intentions, small goals, and they hit them. And so like that's
Yeah.
the big issue. And so my DMs are full of, I want to lose weight. And I'm like, go take a shit. You just lost
Yeah.
weight. Congratulations. Is that what you want? Like, what do you
Yeah.
actually want? Like
Right.
that. Let's get some substance here. I want to be
Yeah.
happy. Well, what does it mean to be happy? Like, let's get some substance here, because we always tend to oversimplify and over ambiguously do these things because it feels good, but it's like, what does that actually mean?
Oh, yeah.
So for an example, if someone says, well, I want to lose weight. Okay. Why do you want to lose weight? Well, again, you just say, I just want to be happy. I want to do it. How about the fact that you can barely fit into your car? How's that?
Right.
Does that work
Yeah.
for you?
Yeah.
You know, how about the fact that when you're having a hard time in your car, which, you know, you're sitting in there, it looks like you're sitting in a matchbox and you can't put the seatbelt on,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Been there, done
or,
that.
or getting embarrassed if you're, I don't know, like, see, to me, I'm getting a little older, so I probably will never go. Six Flags. You know,
I knew he was gonna say roller
I've done the
coaster.
walk.
I'm like,
I've done the
yes.
fucking walk of shame, and it
Yeah.
sucks. You know,
No, 100%.
quick story, really quick.
Go ahead.
I went to Six Flags. I almost died, by the way.
See, it
doing
always
this.
happens at Six Flags, man.
I almost died. I went on the Scream Machine. You guys remember the Scream Machine?
Yeah, well, he's
Okay.
from Michigan. And
Oh, yeah.
I got-
Michigan, you don't have it. But over here in Jersey,
Cedar Point. Here.
they have they used to have a Scream Machine that had 7 loops.
Yeah.
Okay. And at the time, I was pushing almost 500. The thing, you know, the lock comes down over your shoulders like this.
Right.
But because I was so large this way, it only came to like right here and it stopped. So there was a young kid that was like, you know, getting everybody into the carts. And I'm sitting there. Now, my 2 cousins are behind me. They're significantly smaller than I am. They're sitting behind me and they're laughing hysterically, but they're also like, dude, are you locked in? And the thing was up here. Now, the handle's supposed to be here so you could hold them here. They were up here for me. So that means I had some wiggle room here. So if this thing latched up, I would have been dead. And the guy came over and he's like, how do you feel? And I was sitting by myself. There was nobody next to me. I'm like, oh, I'm great because I just wanted to ride it. And I honestly didn't want to get up and fucking be embarrassed. Hell no. There was tons of people on the line. If I got up, I would have been so embarrassed. So I went through with it. And when I went on this fucking thing, you know how many times upside down the thing almost latched up?
Oh.
And when I got off the ride, you know what? I think my cousin has a picture of it because they take the picture when you go up. I got off the ride and he says to me, there's no fucking way I was calling your mother telling her that she lost her son on the fucking Great American Scream Machine. I'm not doing
We are
it.
here at
Six Flags.
Six Flags, and a 400-pound man hit 3 little children as you get launched out of.
Yeah. No, he was like, please don't. And then after that, I went on the free for all, which just drops you. And then I
dropped.
dude, and you know what happened? I dislocated something in my back really, really bad.
Really?
And when I went to the doctor, he said it's because of your weight. I was like, beautiful.
Yeah.
So again, it's what you, like you said, it's what you really want.
Mhm.
I would like to, if you want to extend it, I would like to be able to not shop, which I still have to sometimes, shop at DXL.
100%.
You know,
Fuck that
when I
place.
started this, I was a 6X. Now I'm fitting into, bro, this shirt right here is a 4X. It's a 4X.
Let's
awesome.
go.
So yeah, so I'm slowly, you know, I'm working my way down, depending on the cuts of the shirts. But it's certain things that you want. You know what I mean?
And
Well,
that's the way.
go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was just saying that, and that's where, this is where I kind of convey the message of the why, because the why often seems so ambiguous to most people.
Yeah.
It's like, a lot of people get in this position, whatever it is, weight loss, starting a business, whatever it is, go to school. Well, what is your why, man? And it turns into this spiritual, like sensationalist kind of thing. And it's like, people, you got to know your why. Okay. Well, what do you mean by know your why?
My chakras are aligned.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like,
chakras right here.
yeah, I always kind of convey it as, how will your life be more beneficial, will feel better, will get more pleasure, and how is your life going to be less painful? Because like the pains of dealing with these things sucks.
Right.
And so that's how I tend to explain the why, is this pain and pleasure balance of how is your life going to be pleasurable. Like me yesterday, being able to go to Von Mauer and these nice ass stores with my mom and go try on clothes and decide, does this better does this look better in an XL or a large on me?
Right.
And it's like, it's I can go into anywhere, except for the issue now is it's actually kind of funny. I went from only being able to go to DXL because I was just so fat, to then I could go to anywhere because I was very normal sized. And now I'm in a position where my chest to waist ratio is getting, because I'm just getting so big.
Dude.
That like now I have to get custom shirts or I have to get like I have to get a XL but taper at the waist because now my shoulder to waist ratio is getting so weird. But it just feels good not having to go to DXL.
Right, but see, that's another why. It's
exactly.
not as, but it's down the list. You have a list of whys. You know what I mean? Why? What's the most important to you, and what do you want to get to eventually? It's still important, but what do you want to get to eventually?
See, like Ryan just said, I feel like you should definitely have, you know, a nice list of, you know, multiple whys. But what I also tell people is your main why, like the why, should supplement your long-term goal, the big picture.
Right.
But you should have, so like the big picture, the long-term goal is the thing that you want forever, right? That's your ultimate spot.
Yes.
But in order to get to that ultimate spot, you have to break down those goals, that one singular goal, into smaller goals, right? So you have you should also have your short-term goals. I love short-term goals, man. And that's where I came up with the gains in between thing, because you're always going to need those short-term goals in order to build that bigger picture. Like
Correct.
I tell you guys in the ALG community all the time, you know, Rome wasn't built in a day, but they laid bricks by the hour. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's that same mentality. It's that, you know, you have to take step one, and from step one, you go to step two to step three. You don't go 3 to 7 because it just doesn't work that way.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's
Absolutely.
a systematic order of everything. So if you have that big picture, you have that big why. Well, what are those little things? What are those little whys? What are those little things that you can accomplish, those small goals that are going to get you to that big, final, big place? Now, I personally don't think, for me, that this journey has an ending. That's just me. I think that the journey is lifelong. It's forever.
You get to a nice place.
Oh, yeah,
eventually.
you definitely get to a nice place. Absolutely. No, without a doubt. But, you know, you'd have to have that big picture. You have to have that something that you really, really want, and that way to get there.
Correct.
And it's that finite to it where I think that's going off of that, what you just said, I think is so important, is like whether you need to aspire to something. So it's like, so for example, you may not be there. This is where I'm a firm believer in that, where it's like, for me, it was 2 pounds a week for 50 plus pounds before I even thought about anything outside of that. And I didn't think about writing a book. I didn't think about doing a bodybuilding show. I didn't think about excess skin removal surgery. I was just like 2 pounds a week. But I'm intrigued because this is our podcast, and I can ask any question I want.
Does that feel good? I did that a couple weeks ago. Doesn't that feel fucking great?
Outside of weight loss, outside of health, what is something you're aspiring to have in your life?
Oh, aside from health, honestly, I would like for, well, you know, we were talking about before, the whole RV thing.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't want an RV. I'd rather Allie and I get a house together.
Okay.
Right.
That's what I really do want. Because the RV thing just scares the fuck out of me. It really does.
Yeah.
You know, and the fact that I might be getting a job, you know, she wasn't too, you know, normally, like, you know, girls would be like, oh, you're getting a job, babe. But she's like, that's great if you get it. I would never tell you to turn it down, but kind of ruining my dreams of traveling.
I want to live in an RV.
I'm like, and she's laughing over here. Yeah.
Can I make 200 grand and we buy like a nice RV and then like go on vacations?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
No. And in all seriousness, no, she'd be happy if I got this job. Like, she really would. And if it does go the other route where we have to do the RV, I'm not, listen, as scared as I am to do that, because again, I'm not handy at all.
Yeah.
Like, I'll fix your laptop or whatever the fuck you need me to do. But when it comes to cars or anything like that, or me getting on my hands and knees and getting underneath this fucking thing or getting on the roof, I'm going to shit myself.
Yeah.
So I just rather not. But if it's something that we have to do and we want to do, then I'll do it too. But my one of my goals is for Allie and I to actually have our own house. But I know if we're going to do that, it's not going to be in New York. That's the only thing. And that's what pains me, because my family's here.
Right.
You know?
No, I understand. 100%.
It could be Michigan.
Could be.
I don't know if I can deal with the Michigan people over there, David.
My summer house is going to be in Michigan one day. You heard it here, folks.
We just
heard it here
come
first,
on.
folks.
it's gonna be right next to my beach house.
Yeah, exactly.
My neighbor's looking at selling this. It's like probably you could probably get it from like 800 grand if you want it right now.
Seriously, that's it?
Probably
Wait,
800.
really? That's like a
850.
fucking shithole in Long Island. That's not
Oh,
even like
this
they
is a
don't
beach
get
house
nothing.
on Lake Michigan.
Yeah, you know,
It's
nah, bro.
Michigan,
New
bro.
York sucks.
Nah, bro.
Like you can real estate in Michigan is so awesome for the most part. There's always your places like Ann Arbor sucks and stuff, but outside of it, I mean, you can get a
Probably can't even
gorgeous
get a house in Wine Dance for 800.
Bro, you can get a gorgeous 4,500 square foot house, all stainless steel appliances for 350 grand.
You know what I'm thinking? I'm
400
thinking
grand.
anywhere besides New York is going to be fucking fantastic. That's exactly what it sounds like to me.
Yeah.
Exactly what it sounds like.
No, it's true. No, it's very true. We just live in a terrible state where they make you pay for everything. Property taxes are just absolutely insane.
Dude, I listen. I saw it when I went down to Georgia for work. You know, I remember calling up my ex-wife because I was like, I went to Walmart over there in Georgia, and I'm looking and I'm like, gallon of milk, $1.86.
Yeah.
Since fucking when? And I
Yeah.
forgot where the fuck I was. I'm like, holy shit. And then
Wait,
when I got to the
how much is a
register,
gallon of milk in New York?
$5.
Oh, it's about the same price as a gallon of gas. Or more.
What?
Yeah, why? How
Yes.
much is a gallon of milk by you?
$1.89 maybe.
No, you're lying. What?
Hold on, let
Yeah,
me look it
dude.
up. I'm gonna look it up right
It's-
now.
Dude,
Bro.
I think a gallon of like $4, $5.
Everything was cheap over there. I got Doritos. Doritos were like 2 for $4.
Wow.
I was like, really? They're more like 3 for $7 over fucking here. So I'm like,
Yeah.
all right. I literally walked out of that Walmart with a 6-pack of beer, a half a gallon of milk, a pack of Oreos, and I think I paid like $13, and there was no tax on it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wish.
I was like, what the I
yeah.
remember calling her from my hotel room, and I'm like, we got to get the fuck out of New York. I said that's ridiculous to me.
So
And at the time, they weren't charging us for bags, so I was
a
like,
gallon of milk is $2.59.
Wow.
yeah, it's still cheaper.
I
than
still
bro.
pay $3 more than you.
Yeah.
Good thing I don't drink milk.
Yeah, I
Literally
haven't-
double.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm gonna be honest with you, and so like milk is that price, and it's almost the same price if you're gonna buy oat milk or something. I think
Actually-
like oat milk is $2 more.
All right, I
Yeah.
got to know this one. This is a serious one.
What?
Gas. How much is gas in New York?
Depends, dude. No, it's
It depends.
so yeah.
It's not bad
crazy.
now. It's like 217.
Yeah,
Oh, that's actually not
Sometimes-
bad. We're
it depends
like,
on where you are.
We're like $1.98.
No, yeah, I wish. I
I wish.
think there's
2.15.
one station.
Yeah.
There's one station by my house that's still $1.98. Everywhere else, you're paying anywhere between $2.17 to $2.45 a gallon, depending on
Yeah,
where you are.
to fill my
Wait,
tank,
it
it's like
changes
fucking
that
40
much?
bucks.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
all depends on where you are, how close you are to the city, how further away you are from the
We're
city.
so like consistent. It's
Oh
like,
no.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
You know,
It's again, it's name your own price here. So it is. It
it
is.
sucks.
But so anyway, now that we all found out how much
How much more expensive New
costs,
York is.
Yeah. So I actually wanted to talk about before we wrap up the end of the podcast, and I asked the magical questions that I like to ask at the end. I actually wanted to talk to you really quickly about the ALG community, because the first time we brought it up on this podcast was many episodes ago when we had Kale on, and it was just a brand new idea. David had just set up the app. We had maybe 5 members in it. And now we're at a point where, David, I think we have over 100 members now officially. Is that where we're at?
110, 100.
So we have 110 members now. Ryan is extremely active within the community. And since we first talked about it on here, now we've introduced a weekly call that we have anywhere between 15 to 25 members on at one given time, including me and David. And I just wanted to hear, from your perspective firsthand, kind of what we do in there, how the community is, that whole, gist.
And give us the raw truth.
The raw truth. Like, this is not a commercial. This is not a
fucking- this
promo.
sucks,
I
tell me.
hate it.
Yeah.
It sucks. No, I'm
Yeah.
only kidding. No,
David
actually,
is so egotistical. He just all he talks about is himself.
Yeah.
No, truthfully, I actually, it helps me. It helps me. It's accountable. It holds people accountable. And what I do like is that anybody that's new, you guys, let me tell my story and let me do my thing and introduce myself. As you guys grow, it's going to be hard to do that because now you have to get around to the room and you're going to have.
Bro,
100
we have no
people
idea how
doing
we're doing it yet.
I don't know
yeah,
how.
so it's going to be tough. But as I always say on my stories, you guys are the whole group is just a good group of people.
Thank you.
And I think I've been to many of them. I've been to many like Weight Watchers meetings. Weight loss, the consultations.
Right.
This is so much better. One, you don't have to leave your house. That's number one. Number two, you get a bunch of different people from different states,
Oh,
different
yeah.
parts of the world that are, I'm not saying different parts of the world, like people in fucking like India, I'm talking like people in different states. So you
Yeah.
get to talk to people. But most importantly, everybody is either going through or has gone through the same thing at one point.
Mm-hmm.
So
And I love it differently too, personally. There's gastric
Everybody-
bypass people, there's keto
Right.
people, there's all types
Oh
of
yeah, no, we have all walks of life. All walks
and
of life.
everybody just is accepting in there.
Right.
I mean, listen, if someone was to come in there and say, you know what, I fucked up, I ate a whole bag of Oreos yesterday, no one's gonna be like, oh, you fat fuck. I mean, secretly we might think about it, but in actuality, we're like,
Or if you're a real one with them, they might, someone might turn around and say, hey, you fat fuck, what are you doing? You have goals. You know what I mean?
exactly. I mean, listen, but the whole point of it, at least what I get out of it, is to help each other, because we're all nobody has to be in this alone.
Right.
And
You're
I think
doing it
that's
by
what it's about.
yourself, but you're not alone.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But again, you can do it by yourself, sure, but you don't have to go through things alone, is what I'm saying.
Exactly. Yep.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So, listen, I personally, I love it. I dig the whole thing. I think John, I spoke to you about it. I said,
Mhm.
why only have one fucking call throughout the whole week? Maybe
Oh yeah.
at
Ryan
like a
wants us to
different
do
time.
like 5 calls a week.
No,
7
no,
calls.
not 5, but like,
No, I know.
so for an example, like I know 2 people that I invited that couldn't join, and I'm not saying to do this because of them, but like
No, of course.
they were like, well, Wednesdays I work late at 8:30, I can't make it. I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, I get it, I understand. Which is
Mhm.
why I said, maybe there could be like a Monday or something.
Yeah,
or,
no, we're definitely gonna. I mean, going into the future, we're definitely gonna supplement another call, and we will make the announcement. I mean, I guess we can, softly announce this, that we will have a live version of the show
yeah,
every week to supplement this podcast, to supplement the community call. We're just gonna have a lot more stuff coming. It's, when me and David first sat down and we first concocted what ALG could be, what we wanted it to be.
Mhm.
We both weighed out, the pros and cons with each other, our our weaknesses, our strengths. We figured out a way to balance out each other, which I
Mhm.
think we do a really good job with. And another thing is we hit the ground running.
Mhm.
And then when we
That's
hit the
good.
ground running, the world locked itself in. Like, we
Always.
created ALG right before the lockdown. Like, I think we signed LLC
Literally.
papers like 2 or 3 weeks before that lockdown, dude.
Wait, you
And we-
actually have LLC papers?
yeah, dude.
It's a
Yeah,
full
no,
business.
we're a full
Really?
business. Like, yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, we haven't even unlocked the 7
Literally
layers of hell.
everything.
Like,
Everything. So like everything right now is we're running with the seat of our pants,
yeah.
and we want to build this into like a business, like an actual like community, to the point where it's like we have tools, we have groups, we have support systems.
Yeah, man.
Right now we're just running with the seat of our pants on which direction we want to take.
Right now, we're like, all right,
That's
we
cool.
might as well build a podcast because the world's locked down and people need something to listen to.
Podcast goes a long way, gentlemen.
Oh yeah, and then we just hit the ground running. But soon, we want to provide to you guys, one-on-one coaching. We want to provide group coaching. We have so much on paper that we're going to do. It's just the world locked itself in, and here we are. But the fact that we have people that have come into the community, people like you, people like Allie, just to name a few, and you've all come together, right? And it's all walks of life. I've never seen a group of people that have never met each other in person support each other the way that the members of ALG do. And that's not my doing, and that's not David's doing. That's literally you guys realizing, hey, we all have similar goals. We might be at different spots in our lives, but if I can count on you, if I can talk to you, I can help you make this happen. You can help make me that happen.
Sure.
And it's someone to vent to, because
Correct.
this was something that I wanted when I was going through my deepest, darkest phases of my life.
Mhm.
I didn't know that there was some kid maybe 20 miles from my house who was going through the same thing that I was going through, or that
Right.
there was some kid in West Virginia that's going through something that I went through 6 months ago, that maybe I can be that ear he needs, or I can give
Exactly
him
my
that
point.
support.
Yeah.
You know what
I
I
didn't
mean?
know, 574 pounds. I'm sitting in my mom, my mother's basement playing video games, eating Chinese. I had no idea. Even though you're younger than me, but I had no idea that you were literally only 25 minutes away.
25 minutes, and we hung out in
Yeah.
almost the same scene. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You were in the wrestling community. I was in the wrestling community. You were doing SWA. I was doing MYWC. We were literally just passing each other by and had no idea. You know what I'm saying? We
Right.
live in the same state. We live 25 minutes from each other. I was 510 pounds and you were 575 pounds. And I bet you we would have been best friends. And we would have made it to 600 and dropped dead at the same time.
Yeah.
And it,
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
you know, we could have seen who could eat more slices of pizza. But everything happens for a reason. Here we are today.
Right.
You know, we were able to sit down and make an amazing podcast, open a great discussion, talk about things that people are too afraid to admit. Talk about, you know, success, talk about failure, talk about failing at bariatric surgery, but then coming back from the depths of hell and realizing your mistakes and dropping another 100 pounds, you know, connecting with a coach. And now you're completely changing your life and your girlfriend's changing her life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Dude, I tell you this all the time, and I don't mean to ramble at the end of this podcast, but look at where you are. Look at where you started. Look at where you were. Look at where you are now.
Yeah. A lot
You got
has
a clear
changed.
path ahead of you, dude.
A lot has changed within the last year. I will say that. And for the better. I mean, like I said, I think the worst thing that's going on for me right now is the whole job thing because,
Yeah.
you know, in the fucking state of New York, you can't live off of $400 a week. It sucks.
No, you
But,
can't.
you know, if you have someone that you love, that you can go through it, you know, I'm fortunate. I should say that because not everybody does.
Right.
You know, not everybody can have that type of best friend. I'm fortunate. I do. So, but not even that. Just like I said, the community too. And it's been, dude, what a fucking ride the last few months. I will say that.
Hell yeah.
Truth.
No, I know it.
I will extend to have both of you on my podcast. How's that?
Yeah.
Oh, I would love to be a part of that. Would
Yeah.
love to. Hell
So yeah, we're gonna be finishing up recording our podcast for Closer to Free. And I would love, me and Ali talked about this. I would love to have both of you on there.
Would love to. Would love to do it.
Simultaneously,
Absolutely.
because I don't go on the same podcast as John.
No, you don't have to do it. No, that's fine. No. I would rather both of you. And you know what? Down the line, maybe to get like something like this is great. But one, like obviously to tell both of your stories. for
No, yeah,
sure.
obviously. I would love to. I would love nothing more. Only if I go before David.
Whatever works. You guys
All right.
can fight all the fuck you want about that.
All right, Ryan, we have approached the last end of this podcast, and we are going to wrap things up with two of my favorite questions that I love to end things off with. First question, are you ready?
If it's a severed head, I'm going to be very upset.
Ryan, if you could go back in time and talk to Ryan, who's actually, I'm going to pitch this a little differently to you. Usually I ask people if they could go back in time and talk to an 11-year-old version of themselves, but I don't want you to do that. Instead, if you could go back in time and talk to Ryan, who's walking into a bariatric meeting for the first time in his life, and you had the opportunity to tell him anything at all, what would you say?
Oh man, I really wish you would have asked me that before. That's something to think about. Right before I'm about to go into the bariatric room, like to have a consultation.
Yeah, to go into that first meeting where you kind of, you know, you hear all the ground rules and all that fun stuff.
I would say there's other ways to do this. Don't do this because number one, you're not ready. Number two, it's never gonna work, and you're gonna end. You see what you're looking at right now. You're gonna end right back to where you are. So by all means, if you want to go through this, do it. But I'm telling you right now, it's not in the cards for you. There's other ways.
You're a stand-up man for saying that. You're a better man than a lot of people, honestly. So I have one more question for you. You ready?
Sure.
3 pieces of advice that you could give to someone listening to this podcast.
3 pieces of advice. 1, your way does not work. Always remember that.
I like that one. Write that one
I
down.
like that.
Your
That-
way
that
does
got
not
me-
work because if
That got me perked up.
if it did, you wouldn't be where you are right now.
Ooh, write that one all out right
Hold
now.
on, wait,
Okay.
wait.
Number 2 would be the slower the better.
That was my approach.
Number 3, trust the process. I got a 4th one for you.
Ooh.
Overachiever.
Yep.
Find your why.
Bang. 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 All right, guys. Ryan, I want to thank you for coming on the podcast, opening up, being as transparent as possible, etching out an hour and a half of your time. And now actually, Ryan, you're going to give me more of your time because after we hang up on this call, we're going right into the community call. So
Yes,
that's
we
going to
are.
be a fun time. But
Yes, we are.
Ryan, really quick before we hang up on this, tell everyone where they can find you on social media.
Okay. So you guys can find me on, there's so many different pages. I got at Working on Ryan, that's 2 underscores, so working underscore on underscore Ryan. And then I have a slew of media pages. I got at 80 cinemas, that's 80s cinemas, 90s, the same way, and then 2000s. And you guys can find me there. And I also have my own 2
And
podcasts.
didn't you just
actually.
have The Rock comment on one of your posts?
I did.
He
That's
slipped in the
actually-
DMs, or
No, he DM'd me. Yeah.
yeah, that's magical.
He DM'd you.
Yeah,
Yes.
The Rock DM'd him. He slid in
Oh,
the
that's that kind of
he
that kind of.
DM'd me.
Dwayne.
I didn't expect it, but yeah. And I also have 2 podcasts. I got Closer to Free, which is coming out with Allie, which you can find my girlfriend, which is Ascend Yourself on Instagram, and I also have Timeline, the official podcast, on Instagram as well. So I am literally, especially with the media stuff, I'm all over the fucking place.
Oh yeah,
So-
he is. He runs some really cool pages, guys. If you get a chance, definitely check out 80 Cinema, 90s Cinema, and 2000 Cinema because he puts out some really cool stuff, really cool music videos, just montages of movies. You'll enjoy it. The Rock enjoyed it, so why the fuck wouldn't you? I don't know.
Exactly.
All right, guys. Ryan, I really do again appreciate you, etching out some time and spending it with us.
No worries, man. Thank you.
David, you have no choice but to be here with me. And for all of you who've listened to the end of this podcast, we appreciate you guys for everything that you do. Today's actually, when we record this, National Podcast Day. So from the bottom of our heart, thank you for listening to every single episode of the ALG podcast. You can find us at ALG. Well, no, you can't actually. Don't do that. You can find us at Accountable Life Group on Instagram. You can search us by ALG on YouTube.
And if
Please
TikTok
like,
is still
share.
around,
It's
I'm just
not.
kidding.
It's dead. You can like, share, and subscribe. And if you would like to be a part of the weekly community call that ALG puts on, you can either DM any of the people that you've actually heard tonight, and we'll shoot you over the DM, the invite link, and you can join up. We have a great community, as you just heard. And I think that's it. I've run out. I have no more lines. The prompter's dead. Everyone have a great rest of your Friday. Take care. Stay
It's
sexy.
actually Friday. Today's
This
Wednesday.
comes out on Friday.
That makes sense.
Comes out on a Friday. It's Friday. It's the weekend.
It's Friday.
That's right. It is. It's Friday.
It's Friday.
Every day's Friday.